Hello everyone. Let us talk about the structure of an IELTS essay. I'll be focusing on task 2 in this video. So why is the structure of your essay very important? First of all, it is important because IELTS gives extraordinary emphasis on the structure of your essay. They look at the coherence and cohesion in your essay. What is that? They check whether your essay is interconnected, whether the paragraphs that you have written are jointed together, and whether they are focusing on one central argument. Have you used enough transitional signals to join one sentence to another, one paragraph to another, one part to the other, to make it a unified whole? If you check the IELTS, IDP and British Council website, you will see that there is a criteria for marking in your IELTS writing task 2. You will see that for coherence and cohesion, they have given extraordinary emphasis. So structure is important. Second thing is that a reader can follow your essay when they see a structure, proper structure in your essay. They can understand your argument and they can see your evidence and examples with a proper sequence. And the third thing is that you need to develop a good structure in order to be able to include all of your examples and evidence to prove your argument. And if you have set a structure, it would be easy for you to write the essay. What is the structure of your essay? So in your essay, you give an introduction, you have a body, and then you have a conclusion. Very simple. Everyone knows that. But many people don't know that there are specific parts into each of these parts, and those parts are very important. For example, in the introduction, you have 3 things to include. Number 1 is the context, the background of your essay. Second is your central argument, the thesis statement. And the third is your points of support to develop your thesis statement. Now, there is a difference between IELTS essay and your university or college essay. What is that? In your university essay, you begin the introduction of your essay with a big, broad background. You may start with a dramatic question, or you may start with a quotation, you may start with a story, and then you go to the argument. But in your IELTS essay, you don't have that time. You read the question, depending on the question, you set the context. In fact, the context or the background is already given into a question. For example, a question could be this. There are some people who may think that the use of mobile phones have serious negative impacts for the teenagers. Well, there are some other people who think that the use of mobile phones actually have positive effects on the young people. So these are the contexts which are given into the question. So you just rephrase this language in your own word to set a context of your essay. But in your IELTS essay, you can only set one line to start the essay, which is a context. And after that one line, the first line, you set your argument of the paper, which is a thesis statement. The most significant part of your essay is this central argument, the thesis statement. Now the question comes, how would you write that statement, thesis statement? And what is the thesis statement actually? Your thesis statement, as I said, is the most significant part of your essay. It should be debatable. For example, if you agree with a viewpoint, for example, the use of mobile phones has serious negative effect on the teenagers. Suppose you agree with this viewpoint. Now, obviously, there are people who disagree with your viewpoint. That means this is an effective thesis statement. On the other hand, your thesis statement should not be too broad. Suppose you can say, if you say, there are 1,000 reasons for a specific problem. So this is too broad. You cannot write about 1,150 reasons in an essay. You can write about 3 or 4 reasons. On the other hand, if you say there is one reason for this problem or for this crisis, that is too narrow. You cannot just write one point in one essay. There should be 3 or 4 points. Okay, so these are the things that you need to consider when you write your thesis statement. Next comes your body paragraphs, through which you would prove your introduction, the thesis sentence. So you know that the body paragraphs mean, so there are some paragraphs in the middle. In your IELTS essay, you can have 3 paragraphs or maybe 2 paragraphs, depending on the question. If your question asks you to give 3 different views, for example, the question is, some people think that the use of mobile phone is bad for the teenagers. Some other people think it is good for the teenagers, mental health, for example. The question is, discuss both of the views and give your own opinion. That means you have two different views to discuss, one view in one paragraph, another in another paragraph, and then the third paragraph is on your own view. But if the question is this, there are some people who think that the use of mobile phone has serious negative effects on the teenagers. What do you think? Or to what extent do you agree or disagree? In this case, you have one idea that there are some people who think that this has negative effect, and then you can agree or disagree with that and then give your own opinion. There are two paragraphs at least there. So depending on the question, you will set your number of paragraphs, 2 or 3 paragraphs. But in total, with introduction and conclusion, you have total 5 paragraphs, or at least 4 paragraphs of an IELTS essay. Each body paragraph has a certain structure. So what is that structure? You begin with a topic sentence. You again give a central argument of that paragraph, and then you support that argument with several lines in the paragraph. Then you say a concluding sentence. To make it more specific, the structure is this: you have a claim, you have evidence or example to prove that claim, and you analyze that example in a paragraph, particular paragraph. Now you have 3 paragraphs, so 3 paragraphs have 3 separate points, and all of these 3 points, remember that all of these paragraphs should support your central argument which you have said in the introduction. And then at the end of the essay, you say a conclusion. Now what is that conclusion? You just restate the thesis in your own words in a different way, and you can add your comments and also include the points of development, and this way you will write a wonderful essay. For your convenience, I'm attaching a structure of an essay from John Langan's English Skills. This is a very good book for writing. You can buy it and know about the different structures and qualities of an essay. Thank you very much. Bye for today.